Hey, Ken.
Using a presentation technology called a laser. Austin Powers references never get old.
All right, is everyone ready to go?
Yep.
All right, how's everyone doing? Obviously, I'm Jim Henderson. I know you guys have been in class with me for the past 2 years. So this is Zach and this is Chin, and we are the Temple University marching band system. Just to give you an agenda, we have the Temple marching band background, since everyone sees it, but I don't know too many people who know that much about it. I know, for one, I didn't know that much about it until I actually started getting into this project. So we have our current system and our current system challenges, the function requirements, walk through the user interface, and then also the non-functional requirements. So, like I said, just a quick background. The Temple Band was actually formed in 1925, and it was actually formed by a group of students. I found that pretty interesting. And also, as many people can see, there are many aspects of the band, but the only part we will be actually dealing with is the Temple University marching band, which you will see at a football game. The current director is Matthew Brunner, who we have obviously been working close with, along with Matt Salvatore and Mike Bell, who handle the current system. Which leads us into this. All of the current system is actually handled on 2 Excel spreadsheets and the uniform management system, which is provided by the vendor of uniforms. There are many different aspects of the uniform, such as their hats, their raincoats, their jackets, their pants, and each one of those has all sorts of measurements. There's also color guard, drum major, what type of band member you are, so those are aspects of the band that we have to account for. The current system mostly relies on Matt. Dr. Brunner will send a request out where they will send in their measurements, and then Matt will receive the request. He'll go in the current UMS system, and then he'll actually dispense the uniforms according to what it came up with. Same with Mike Bell, except in the instrument department. The opportunities for improvement in the system, like I said, there's 2 Excel spreadsheets and the uniform management system, so we can actually make it a centralized location for everything. We can make it a web-based application, which makes it accessible by all band members and by the administrators themselves. The file system is at risk for corruption, and it's not secure at its current state. With Excel spreadsheets and the system, anyone could pretty much go in and alter data and things in that matter. Again, the system overview, we just want the current system to be a web application. We're looking at TU Cloud, which offers, as most of you know, 24/7 runtime. It's down for as little as 43 minutes over a month. I knew that off the top of my head, actually. And it'll be secure behind the TU Cloud's firewalls and things. The functional requirements will be login, authentication. As you'll see when we get into the actual user interface, depending on your credentials, you'll be directed to different sets of pages. We give the ability to manage Temple University band members, manage uniforms, instruments, to view what's assigned to band members, and also send notifications. Zach.
Hi guys, I'm Zach. I'm here to talk about the user interface. There's basically 2 things going on. Like Jim said, we're talking about having band members whose responsibilities include measuring themselves in a not bad fashion, and then we have administrators who are in fact the guys that run the whole show. This is a login page. You've seen a bunch of those. This is what the band members look at when they log in. Again, it's role-based authentication. It's just a field within our user table right now. The big innovation versus the way that they were doing things is that we're not going to take any old input. There's actually combo boxes here with the acceptable ranges of things that are all corresponding to sizes of human beings. So somebody can't answer yellow for weight. Actually, I don't even know what a weight's in there, but it was in the spec. As far as admins go, they get a pretty made menu depending on what their job is. There's a couple different ways and kinds of workflows that the admin's going to go through. There's going to be, of course, the big rush at the beginning and end of the football season to get them set up with uniforms. All that stuff happens per user. But then afterwards, when the inventory's gone over for returns, they're going to have set of dispositions for those. There's going to be some ad hoc stuff that's gonna happen in between, especially with instruments. And the ability to, of course, manage users as people move in and out of the band per year. So this is our user table. You're given a list of users here. From there, actually I kind of started from the end. So working our way out, there's a sidebar here that has a bunch of predefined searches essentially in order to drill down. I want to see everyone who is X or is Y or is not X or is not Y. For users right now, we just have an ability to listen by instrument and then the special types of band members, including drum majors and color guard folks. So the general flow is to kind of refine it down from here, and then instead of having a separate page for editing every individual thing, which seemed like a real hassle, we have we have in-place editing with CSS transitions, just blowing out a box, which gives you access to all the underlying stuff without having more click-throughs. Right now, there's just dummy data in here, of course. Easy to see what items have been issued to the person, and one click sticks it back in inventory. You don't have to go and change that item in the application somewhere else. If their measurements were off and they have to be edited, the ability to do that's here. To change our little flags about being an admin or a special kind of band member is also here. Talking about the workflow of issuing uniforms, that's kind of where most of the app lives in this app. And we have a mobile dialog that comes up that allows you to see, again, what they already have, and then the ability to assign them new items. There's an algorithm that the existing system uses to figure out what is the best fit. And I think it's just like the absolute value of the size of the thing minus the size of the person. That's something that we're going to have to kind of sanity check with the end user, of course, as we go. But as it stands right now, having a color code, kind of a good, better, best solution for them is what we're shooting for here. Non-functional requirements, moving out of what it does versus how it does it. There's the usual laundry list. EU Cloud actually handles most of this for us when it comes to backup, disaster recovery, and of course the actual hosting of the site. The idea as it stands today, as far as accessibility goes, it's not going to be internet facing, but it will be available to anyone on Temple's land. Architecture, of course, we're using the VB.NET stack with IIS, and with it being a web app, of course, it's available to anyone who has a web browser. If you guys need one, just see me after class and I'll give you one. Performance, of course, is going to be red hot, blazing fast. It's going to be amazing. Security, most of the bad guys are going to be kept out via TU Cloud, and the fact that it's only available on the LAN. But in addition to that, we will be tying in with AD for authentication on whether or not you actually belong at this university or not. Usability, a lot of what we do in the design with animations and rollovers, which are difficult to explain via PowerPoint slide, is there to tell the end user, hey, this is interactive. And giving the feedback as they go is great. There's also going to be some key interface diagrams to help out with where is this in the app as far as the ability to do most of your sundry jobs. And I'm going to hand it back to Jim now. He's going to talk to us about testing.
So it's going to go through mostly 3 phases of testing, which are pretty common. We'll do the unit testing, which is each task implementation, just testing all the functional requirements, making sure all the user input actually validates, things of that nature, which leads to the validation testing, which will ensure that everything they're inputting, which is the reason we're using drop-down lists instead of just allowing them to input anything they want, because the measurements would probably get pretty messy at that point. The system testing, the TU Cloud Service handles most of that, but we'll have to make sure that everything's able to be up and running. And then the acceptance testing, which will have to be the final say by Matt, Mike, and Director Brunner that everything they see is okay and that they're willing to use this system for years to come. Just a quick summary, we'll make the Temple University Marching Band Inventory System effectively and easy to use for administrators. It'll be very easy for students to be able to log in and submit their measurements. There'll be a reliable source for the administrators to use the marching band system from here on out. Centralized location, as I said, and secure data. So hopefully for years to come, this is useful to them. Questions?
I have a general comment for all the groups, because I have not seen this yet. One of the requirements on your presentations that does need to get added in before you go to your clients was that there needs to be a slide that talks about next steps, how this process is going to continue in the next semester. So it's nice to talk about the retrospective, what you've done, but when you really have this closing meeting and you talk about this, you really need to talk about what you're going to do next semester, how the process is going to work. And in the assignment, there were some things in there where you talked about the fact that you're going to deliver in 3 separate pieces, an iterative approach. You need to talk about all that so they know what's coming. If not, you've ended with this semester and you leave your clients hanging. They have no idea what to expect next, which is a really important part of this last presentation. So that's one key thing that everybody, if you don't have in your presentations, I haven't seen it yet, needs to put back into your presentation.
And that comes right before your summary slide.
Any questions?
I have one, Jim. Why exactly was it not gonna be facing the internet again?
What do you mean?
It's not gonna be internet-based, like you can only get on the, Temple network, right? Like when you're on campus?
It was actually a security decision that there's a term that security nerds throw around called surface area. That is, how many ways can someone try to wreck your shop? And looking at the Temple Marching Band, and especially their calendar of activities, most of when they're getting new data for new members is happening at a month ago in the fall semester. So kind of like 2 months into the fall semester. Nobody's going to be on vacation at this point looking to, nobody takes a week off for Halloween. If the end users did need it, if it was a different kind of calendar, we would probably just have it on the internet. But as it stands right now, the extra handiness of having the ability to fill out a 10-minute form anywhere versus just on campus wasn't worth the added security risk.
Okay, so what you guys are talking about doesn't make logical sense to me. So you're building a web application.
Yep.
It automatically is accessible off campus unless we do something in the development of this to prevent that.
Right. That's
What happens, right? You put it on a website, it's accessible from anywhere. Now, for all of you, there are times that the university will not let things go off campus because of security of data, or if they do go off campus, they need additional security built into them. This is going to be accessible from anywhere because there's nothing confidential in here, unless I'm missing something, there might be. But that's something we can deal with at this point next semester, but there's nothing to stop it. It goes on a website, it goes on a website.
Temple uses a lot of internal domain addresses as it is, and like I said, like this is not like a super stiff requirement, but as it stands, I thought being conservative in regards to security would make more sense than.
Nah, let it go.
yeah, no.
That's gonna be the default anyway. So we can talk about it as we go into next semester.
Most importantly, Matt has a question.
I was wondering, are you saying that both sides of it are going to be only on Temple or just the admin part?
Well,
I think
again, as an
it definitely the part where the student has to log in and put their uniform measurements in, that is going to be a web-based application that they can all access. It wouldn't make sense for them to have to come to campus to log. They could just log in from their laptop at home and come on. If it came down to it and we needed the other part to be in, right? But no, yeah.
Well, here's the problem. If we separate the administrative part from the student part, then you're talking two URLs.
Right. I don't.
And I don't see the point in it. We just had to do that with one of the 4396 projects. There's a piece that all faculty can access in the entire university, and there's a piece that just the department can access. And we needed different levels of security for those two pieces, therefore we needed different URLs.
Yeah, just as Wendy said, as soon as it's deployed, there's nothing on there that's going to be outrageous. It's going to be their measurements, unless someone's really sensitive about that. I think we're good. So,
I cut all the tags out of my pants for that very reason.
well, okay. Any other questions? All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Thank you.